Hi friends, Krista here. Thanks for stopping by Books and Jams. Today we're going to be doing one of my favorite videos to film every month, and that is my TBR for November. I love filming my TBR. I love playing my flip and roll game. I just think it's so fun to get excited about a stack of books. It's kind of more like a pile of possibilities because I never finish my TBR. Very rarely, I should say. And if something else comes up that I would rather read, I hold my TBR very loosely. We'll just say that. This November, I'm planning on participating a little bit in Nonfiction November and also in Historathon. I don't have any books picked yet for Historathon. I'm hoping this flip and roll game will give me the historical fiction that I need for Historathon. And then I do have 2 definite nonfiction books I'll read and 3 more that are kind of in a pile of hopefuls. So the 2 that I'm definitely going to be reading are my channel read along, quarterly read along this year. And in November, we're doing Adorning the Dark by Andrew Peterson. I would love for you to join in if you're interested in reading this along with a handful of other people. We will be meeting on Sunday afternoons to have a live discussion of each section of the book. It's not divided into sections, but every 4 chapters we'll meet to have a live about it. So I'm really excited about this. I think it's going to be a great read, and I'm looking forward to having many of you join in. So this is already a definite on my TBR. The only other definite nonfiction is my Patreon book club book for the month, and we're going to be reading Mexikid by Pedro Martin. This is a graphic memoir, so it'll be a quicker read, something different for my Patreon. We don't normally do graphic novels. We don't even really do memoirs all that often, so this will be interesting. It's a middle grade graphic memoir of this boy, Pedro. He's the author. When he was a kid, he's a Mexican-American, and his family took a road trip to Mexico to bring his grandfather back to the States. And his grandfather had lived a very exciting life and has a lot of stories. It's going to be filled with stories and this family road trip to Mexico. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be really good. It did win. I purchased it before. It did win an award this year. Was it a Newbery Honor? I forget, but it did win an award this year in the ALA, American Library Association Awards. So I think it's going to be fantastic. And I'm proud of my patrons for going outside of their comfort zones and picking this one. I was wrong. I do have one definite historical fiction read, and that is my Patreon pick for the month. I picked a book that was recommended by Maria this month, and it is a sequel to Brooklyn by Colm Toibin. It's called Long Island. So I'm going to be reading this historical fiction set in Long Island. It just carries on the story of Ellis, who immigrated to America from Ireland. I don't know the date of when Brooklyn happened, but this one, Long Island, is going to be 20 years later after the events of that first book. So this will be a definite read in the month of November as well. But let's go ahead and switch gears and get into flip and roll. I've got my dice here. I'm going to use Alexa. She just turned on. I'm going to use my little device for flipping the coin this time around because I don't feel like I flipped very well. But just as a reminder, here is my game. I'm going to roll a dice 5 times, and for each roll, I'm going to flip a dice. If I get heads, I have to pick a prompt from the prompt jar. If I get tails, I need to choose a book using a spinner wheel. So the prompt jar gives me a little freedom of what I pick. The spinner wheel determines what I have. So I have a spinner or a spreadsheet for each of these categories. So we'll be able to randomize it to some degree. Okay, let's go ahead with roll number 1. It is a 5, which is a series book. Alexa, flip a coin.
Okay, flipping. It's heads.
Heads is prompt jar. So Long Island is a series book because it's the sequel to Brooklyn. If I'm able to get that to fit, that would be great. I don't know if I have many other historical books. I mean, I have a couple mystery series that are historical. Oh my word. A book with more than 30 chapters. How do I know? How do I know that? That's a long book. Or short chapters. I guess I will be back in a moment. Let me pull up my series spreadsheet and look at it that way. All right, that was not as hard as I thought it would be. The first one I looked at actually is a historical fiction and will be perfect somehow to fit in Historathon, Mrs. Porter Calling. This is book 3 in the Emmy Lake Chronicles by A.J. Pierce. The first one is Dear Mrs. Bird, and this one has lots of chapters. which is great because that means they're short. 35, 36 is the last chapter. So more than 30 chapters, historical fiction. I'm really thrilled to get this on the TBR, and it will bring me current. I don't know if this is the final one, but it will bring me current in this series. So I'll have to do my research to see if there will be more, but I'm really pleased to get another historical fiction on the pile. All right, let's do roll number 2. It is a 4. Can you see that? 4 is my recommendations cart, which is where my computer is currently sitting. There's lots of books still on here. I've been doing good reading from it this year, but there's still a lot. Let's see if I will do prompts or a spinner wheel. Alexa, flip a coin.
Okay.
Sorry for all of yours that are doing it too.
You got heads.
Heads again. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick another prompt. These prompts were all given to me by my patrons a long time ago. All right, this is, an intimidating read. Okay, immediately I looked at one and saw that. And it's a chunker, which is why it's intimidating to me. Should I just go with that one? I'm gonna pick this one because it's the chunkiest on the pile. It's really only 500 and it's less than 600 pages. So it's just the fact that it looks chunky that makes it intimidating to me, but also because it's been sitting on my shelves for a while. What's the book, Krista? It's Dragonfly by Leila Meacham. This is an author that I heard about first from Lindsay's Little Library, and she loves Leila Meacham. I've never read anything by her. So now is the time. Now is the time to read a book by her. This one takes place in 1942, so it is a World War II. 5 young American spies are sent to Paris, risking their lives for their country. One of their own pays the ultimate price. So it doesn't feel like a unique storyline, but I'm very curious about this author. Am I going to like her writing style or not? So there we have it. Book 2, second historical fiction on the pile. 2 out of 2. Let's see what we get next. All right, roll number 3 is another 4, another recommendations cart. Alexa, flip a coin.
Okay. You got tails.
Tails. Okay. I don't have a spinner wheel for the recommendations cart. I'm going to have to do a random number generator instead. And there are a bunch that I've read already, and I don't take them off the list ever. I just highlight them in different colors of the year that I read it. So this year they're all orange, the ones I've read. So I have them all sorted alphabetically. And there are, how many? 123 books this time. Alexa, choose a number between 2 and 123.
Here's a number between 2 and 123. It's 56.
56 is not read. Oh, I'm excited for this. Julia and the Shark. Let me grab it. Okay, this is a middle grade, and it is going to be a nice break from nonfiction and historical fiction, except that I think it's going to be really sad. I think it's about a young girl who deals with the loss of her mother, maybe. But I really like the graphic style where the yellow is just highlighted with the black and white. Oh. In all of the little pictures. And on the back it says, "My name is Julia. This is the story of the summer I almost lost my mom and found a shark older than trees. Don't worry though, that doesn't spoil the ending." What? This is by Kieran Millwood Hargrave and was with Tom DeFreston. And I believe I got this edition from the UK, maybe? I don't remember, but I'm excited to have this middle grade read, finally. I've been wanting to read it for ages. And Kieran Millwood Hargraves has written a lot of other books, and I want to know if I want to read those as well. And I love a printed hardcover. So here we go, book 3, recommendations cart. Sweet. All right, let's do roll number 4. It is a 3, which is my book exchange, Christmas book exchange cart, which is another cart that sits near me right here. There are a lot of historical on here, so that would be great if I could get a historical. Let's see if I'll be picking or if the spinner wheel will pick for me. Or random number generator, I think. Alexa, flip a coin.
Okay. Tails.
Tails again. Okay, I don't have any control. Makes me a little nervous because there's some interesting books on there, but there are a lot of historical fiction. Let's see what's going to happen. I'm going to go ahead and sort by read and unread because then I can get an accurate number. So we're going to choose from 51 to, oh, I didn't write that on there. That's okay. Let me do that quick. Okay, so we're going from 53 to 117. Alexa, choose a number between 53 and 117.
Here's a number between 53 and 117. It's 99.
99. Okay, good. I love this. Beyond the Bright Sea. Is that over here? I think I put that back on my shelf. Okay, I'm thrilled that we got another middle grade because I feel like with nonfiction, it just makes me go a little slower, and having some middle grade will help keep the momentum going for me. So Beyond the Bright Sea is by Lauren Wolk. She's an author that I've read from before and really enjoyed. I think this might be her debut. I don't remember. Maybe Wolf Hollow is her debut. I forget. Yeah, I don't remember what this one is about. It won a Scott Odell Award for historical fiction. It is historical, so I can make this fit for Historathon as well. Yes. 12-year-old Crow has lived her entire life on a tiny isolated piece of the starkly beautiful Elizabeth Islands in Massachusetts. Abandoned and set adrift in a small boat when she was just hours old. What? Crow's only companions are Osh, the man who rescued and raised her, and Miss Maggie, their fierce and affectionate neighbor across the sandbar. Crow has always been curious about the world around her, but it isn't until the night a mysterious fire appears across the water that the unspoken question of her own history forms in her heart. Soon, an unstoppable chain of events is triggered, leading Crow down a path of discovery and danger. I have heard good things about this. I know that I like Lauren Wolk as an author. It won a historical fiction award, so it can fit for Historathon. The random number generator did me good this time, especially giving me 2 middle grades. Wonderful. 5th and final roll. Here we go. 6 is free choice. Okay, I'm picking a nonfiction so that I can give myself a little more reason to pick these up. I'm going to go ahead and pick this book that I picked up at the library book sale in the spring when I was volunteering. I found this copy of Loving versus Virginia. I still need to take the library binding off of it, but this is a gorgeous book by Patricia Ruby Powell, and the artwork is by Chandra Strickland. This is a history book about the case Loving versus Virginia, about a mixed race couple who wanted to love each other, and it wasn't allowed at the time. But it's really cool because it's written in verse, but it also has both illustrated pages. Let me see. It has illustrated pages and also some actual photographs. Can we find a page that has photographs? There's a big old map in here about the laws. Let's see. Here we go. Here is an actual photograph. So I feel like this is going to be a quick read, but important and heartbreaking at the same time. I feel like it's going to just bring out a lot of different emotions. Part of Martin Luther King's speech there, a picture of the Civil Rights Movement, March on Washington in the 60s. So yeah, but also written in verse. I just think that that's going to be so cool. So I'm adding Loving versus Virginia as my free choice. And I didn't flip a coin or spin a wheel because I just wanted to pick this one. So flip and roll really worked well for me this month. For roll number 1, I got a series book that has more than 30 chapters. And so I'm choosing Mrs. Porter Calling. For roll number 2, I got a recommendations cart that intimidates me. And so I'm picking Dragonfly by Leila Meacham. Random generator picked a book off of my recommendations cart. And so it's Julia and the Shark. Random number picked a book off my Christmas recommendations cart, Christmas book exchange cart. That's Beyond the Bright Sea. And then I had a free choice / 5-star prediction. And I'm pretty convinced this will be 5 stars, Loving versus Virginia. So Flip and Roll did great. Then add to that my Patreon book club book, Mexikid, plus my Patreon pick, which is Long Island, which I don't have, and then my Christian nonfiction read-along, Adorning the Dark. I think November is going to be a great month of reading. I will read more than this. Almost definitely I'll read more than that. But I'm excited about these choices. Also in November, for the last couple of years, I have kind of done my own little NetGalley November. I didn't really talk about it with my TBR because I'm not going to focus on reading books off my NetGalley. I'm focusing on writing those NetGalley reviews because I have a number of books that I've read but haven't written my reviews for. So the goal is by the end of November to have all of my reviews written for the books that I've already read. So I'm not really talking about NetGalley November, but I would encourage you, if you have a long backlist on NetGalley, go ahead and try to knock some of those out this month. And then hopefully I get a couple more nonfiction in there and a couple more Historathon books in there. And I look forward to hearing what you're going to be reading in the month of November. Feel free to chat with me down below about your most excited books for November. What did you think about any of these if you've read them? Are you going to join me in the read along or the Patreon book club or any of the other reads that I'll be doing this month? Let's chat in the comments below. I love chatting with you down there. Many of you might be wondering, wait a minute, Krista, why are you sitting in front of your own bookshelves? You're not at home right now. And you're right, I'm not. I am currently out of state visiting with my besties, but that's the joy of scheduling on YouTube. I can get this up and ready and schedule it to be live when I'm gone. All right, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you so much for watching and spending some of your time with me today. I really appreciate you being here, and I look forward to chatting with you in another video very soon. Bye.